The city of Iacon has been liberated by the Decepticons. They have vowed to protect the people, even those biological beings who don't belong on this planet.
Out of the way, Void!
There are, however, rumors of Autobots in the hills and valleys, talks of counter-revolution. As such, it has been decided that a hunting party will be assembled to flush out any such threat. It will be done loudly and publicly to show the public that the Decepticons will keep them safe. Whoever leads this party will also be responsible for reporting their findings to the Unaligned. They will be quickly regarded as a hero of the revolution. This would be a great opportunity for Starscream, and one he wishes to ask Megatron for.
Oh, I've already decided. I'm going to ask Starscream to lead the hunting party.
Are you sure that's wise, Megatron?
You doubt his ability.
Not his ability. More, his manner. It's a very public position. If we wish to reinforce the idea that a hold on the city is good for Cybertron as a whole, Starscream's optics are suboptimal, perhaps.
His optics. You are insinuating something that is a coward's way of making a point. Say what you mean.
There's no doubt in my mind that Starscream is loyal, but I have overheard some conversation as to whether it is Cybertron or Starscream that he's truly loyal to. I only relate what I hear, Megatron.
Do you remember Starscream's mentor? Her name was Cryak. I have never met a more fervent lover of our planet. She would set off on expeditions without word or warning, through the deepest cracks or ascending the highest peaks of Cybertron, places that have never before been explored. She wanted to see every inch of it, regardless of time or cost. She took Starscream with her sometimes, when he was newly forged.
Cryak died, I assume.
There was an accident. Rather than live on in a shattered body, she asked to become an immersant, to be returned to the planet. To Cryak, that was more a joy than it was a sadness. That's the kind of dedication we need if we're going to forge Cybertron into the new place it always should have been.
I'm only asking questions. But I do wonder if you've seen some specific act of Starscream's that suggests he shares such commitments to Cybertron. Or whether watching his mentor act to such an extreme might have smelted his mind towards a different path. How dangerous might that same passion be if it is directed only towards one's self-interest? I suppose all I'm asking is, what do we think Starscream is really like?
Enough. I've heard enough. If this is going to be an issue for the role, perhaps it's more trouble than it is worth. We'll send Soundwave instead. What was that?
Betrayal burns in Starscream's very spark, a lump of sputtering mercury. And something else burns with it too. If Starscream were to examine the feeling, it is possible that he would identify it as shame, but Starscream does not wish to examine it. He wishes to plot and scheme and destroy his enemies, for that is what Starscream is like.
is? What are you talking about?
We must tell Megatron!
You can tell me! I am the head of intelligence!
Well, it's...
We were scouting the edges of the deep waste, and we heard it. A ghost in the waste. A howling.
A ghost?
It is an old myth of a ghost who screams in the waste. A disembodied spark, trapped forever, without a body looking to steal the shell of any Cybertronian who wanders near.
I know the myth! I know more about Cybertron than any of you!
I'm sorry, Starscream. We didn't mean to suggest that...
Has it occurred to you that the Autobots also know this myth? That if they were planning to retake the city, they might use such a myth as a cloak to scare wayward explorers away from their position.
We didn't think, no!
We must inform Megatron immediately! The Autobots reclaim Iacon!
They shall not. Give me the coordinates. I will investigate it myself.
On your own?
My mentor, Cryak, used to take me out to the wastes. We would spend cycles out there, navigating the terrain, in order to see parts of the planet no one's ever seen before. It was almost a religious rite for her. I know the wastes better than any Cybertronian alive. I can navigate them with stealth that a clumsy army couldn't. And then no one shall doubt my loyalty to Cybertron at all!
Cybertron is holy because it is the body of Primus, he who created all of us. He gave up his spark, his pistons and gears, and smelted down his frame so life could exist. From these gifts, towers were raised, gleaming cities like Iacon and Helix. It is said the Great Rust Sea was formed of his fluid nucleon, and that as his cells broke down to malleable protoform, he became deep valleys and high mountains. Thus, not every area of his body is easily accessible. Some terrain so inconsistent and difficult that it cannot be navigated by alternate forms with wing or wheel. Instead, they must be conquered by hand and foot, an exhausting and arduous process, one that few Cybertronians have either the will or interest to undertake. The Wastes are one such place. It is true that Starscream used to come here with me often, but since I passed on, he has not been here at all. Not for kilocycles. He cannot fail to think of me, of course, as he traverses the hills. After all, he knows the wastes are where I returned myself to the land. Oh yes, I said I. Did you not realize that I was telling this story? I, Cryak, the dead. Starscream cannot help but reflect on why he has not bothered to return here without me all these kilocycles. He is not one to examine his own behaviors or actions. That is not what Starscream is like. But under the stars, negotiating with the steely Bracken, you might imagine he wonders whether the people of Iacon are right about him. Does he still pause to examine Cybertron's beauty? Or does he care only what this mission might do for him in the Decepticon's eyes? Perhaps it is a relief when he is snatched from such thoughts. Perhaps it is a relief when he hears the screaming. He treads carefully, wishing that he had brought backup after all. He does not wish to battle with an Autobot scouting group alone. If there are few enough of them, perhaps he can slit their throats from behind. But as he nears, the screaming pauses, as though something has sensed he is near. And perhaps the idea of a ghost suddenly feels less foolish than it did. Most myths are born of truths, after all. And so he is very relieved when he enters the glade.
Ooh.
Ha! How did you get out here, beast? Did you get separated from your Void Master? Or did you escape? You're tangled in the wires of the Earth. You see? This is why our planet is no place for you fleshy beings. And yet you all insist on coming here.
Ooh.
Look at you, huffing like that. Panting, they call it, right? How have you survived? I know you biologicals must eat. You masticate matter to convert energy. Inefficient and unsightly. And there is no food source to be seen.
Ooh.
Unless... Has this been feeding you? Have you been siphoning precious energon from our world? That can't be allowed to carry on, can it?
Oh.
What is Starscream like, really? As he reaches for the cable that binds the beast to the land, he could either throttle it, leaving the animal to starve, or he could release it and let the animal go free. It would be interesting to know what he would have done.
Papa runs so mad.
Starscream would howl at the universe and ask why this is happening to him, but he suddenly has new lips. Fleshy, rubbery protuberances, and he cannot bear to move them again. And between these lips, well, he is used to having teeth, but to Cybertronians they are of use only as weapons, and there is such an inconsistency to the materials of this body. What his teeth are now embedded in, the flesh of the gum, is so soft. How do these biologicals go around with bodies that feel like they might be pulled apart so easily? He tries to calm himself a moment, to pause and take stock of his situation, but that only makes things worse. It only makes him more aware. He is looking out through eyes that are not his own. He is seeing in spectrums designed to pick out the movements of prey and predators, as opposed to distinguish between the alloys of his own planet. Through those eyes, he sees the shell of his own form lying idle.
Huh?
So, he has moved bodies. He is within the ape. Yes, he can feel the ape's mind in here with him too. It has been trapped a long time. It is very tired. If Starscream doesn't wish to stay trapped, he must think rationally. He must make himself calm. It is easier said than done. He has never been in a body that was soaking itself in adrenaline before, but he manages it. Something must have happened when he touched the cable, something which triggered a transfer of some sort. A Cybertronian doesn't truly live within his shell. That can be changed and amended and resmelted. A Cybertronian is truly their spark. A spark is a complex composition of electrons and positrons that defines everything about a member of our species. It is the part that thinks, the part that matters. When a Cybertronian dies, it is because their spark has been extinguished. And if a spark were to become trapped without a home for megacycles, that would be a great, unimaginable horror. Starscream realizes now that when he touched the cable, the charge within it must have forced his own spark from his body into that of the ape. He now resides within its brain, nestled somewhere within the fast-firing electronic synapses. It is a thought that makes him panic all over again.
Oh. 'Cause, 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 'cause,
and the ape panics with him. There is something within his chest which thuds. He wants it to stop. He waits, but it does not. He realizes that it was there the entire time, that these biologicals live with it all the time. It is some sort of pump. He can feel it push some foul, hot liquid around every inch of the body. To stay sane, he makes a concerted effort to focus only on himself, to see if he can feel the edges of his spark, so different from the carbon-based matter it is stuck within, and he finds that he can. This is a great relief. He has not become the animal. He is only within it. And there is electricity in this body. It is made in part of sodium, potassium, calcium, even magnesium. Since such cells can hold a charge, perhaps, yes, he can move himself between them. But you are going the wrong way, Starscream, and you are leaking all your thoughts where I can see them. You may find it easier if you visualize yourself a body.
What? Who said that? Who's in here with me?
I find it's easier if you focus on the form you're used to, the one you were forged into.
Listen, you have to...
Just try it, Starscream. There you go.
What are you doing in here?
Oh, sorry. Wait a moment. It's been so long. I forgot to make myself a body too.
Cryak!
Starscream. It's so fitting that you would find me. Who else even ventures into the wastes?
But you're gone. Your spark returned to Cybertron. You can't be here. I'm hallucinating. These sick organics are eroding my mind.
No, I was meant to return to my final reward. After the lead fall which damaged my body, I was certain that was Primus's message to return to him. I was so excited. I had wandered so much of the surface of this planet. Now I was to become a part of it, where I belonged. I found the glade in the wastes. It seemed the perfect place to return to Primus. I lay myself down. I finally felt at peace. I lay there for whole cycles until my spark began to ebb from me. I could feel it being diffused through the cables of the wastes, down into Primus's living corpse. And then the ape came. I do not know if it was escaped, released, or simply lost. It became tangled, and then it began starving, I think. So desperate that it chewed through the cable as my spark flowed through it. And here we've been trapped, in this terrible limbo for over a megacycle. Neither of us able to die, neither able to leave.
Cryak! This is terrible. I had no idea. No one did.
I have been making the ape howl every night, hoping that someone would hear it. Someone would come. It was only just now, as you spilled your thoughts and memories, that I realized I'd been keeping people at bay instead. The old myth. The disembodied sparks in the waste. I suppose they weren't wrong, were they?
Cryak! My body is still connected to the ape, but I don't know how to navigate this labyrinth of a body.
Oh, yes, of course. I can find it.
Oh, Cryak, thank you! If I can pass my spark back down the wire, I can get you help. We can build you a new body, or return you to the planet, if that's what you really want.
Oh, I'm not going to find your body so you can return to it. I'm going to take it for myself.
Excuse me?
Don't worry. I'm not going to hurt you. But I'm going to need your body for myself. I've been trapped in this biological hell for so long. I understand it so well now. I understand that it was a mistake for Cybertronians to ever take on a bipedal form. Why do we mimic their shape like this when there is no need? Even looking like this here disgusts me. We are metal and spark, and that's all we should be. I think I can travel down that cable to your body and return to the world. I shall put those cannons of yours to work, returning as many of my fellow Cybertronians to Primus as I can before they can stop me. I will rid them of the horror of legs, of arms, the misery of limbs and eyes and noses. Look where it all leads. How long do you think before Cybertronians start scanning and building organic matter themselves? No. We have lost our way.
Cryak, you're talking about murder. Genocide. I won't allow it.
I was your mentor. When have those concepts ever bothered you, Starscream?
Everyone is convinced they know me so well.
This is how it feels to us, like a great battle as we navigate around the organs of our animal prison. Though in reality, we are little more than 2 jolts of energy frothing in the bloodstream of this loathsome ape. He corners me in the lung, but he's not aware of the porous capillaries, and I slip out. But I am driven downwards towards the labyrinth of the guts. I expect to corner him, but it is too long since I have engaged in battle, and he is fresh from a war. He chases me through the bloodstream as I make a final bid for freedom. I wish I could say the battle was closer. But it is not.
That's it, isn't it? The way back to my body. Me again. My own body. I've missed its weight. I can still see you in those eyes, Cryak. Can you speak to me?
Look.
Perhaps those nauseating lips and teeth aren't well designed for speech. But know this, Cryak. I could kill this animal. I could atomize it in under a second, and your spark with it. Or perhaps I could find a way to free you. To unblock that cable, and return you to the planet, as you always wished. But the myth of the disembodied spark is a part of Cybertron. You understand, don't you? Goodbye, Cryak.
I do understand. Starscream truly does love Cybertron. He loves it enough that he would not be the one to rob it of one of its myths. That's what Starscream is truly like. So he will leave me here, and never return, and never tell anyone what he found. And realizing this, the ghosts of the wastes, the disembodied spark, begin to scream.